Howdy folks, I'm Beautiful Bunyip, boldly bribing backstabbing behemoths.
I'm Amber.
And here are more backstabbing behemoths for us to bribe. It's illegal, and therefore it's fun. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Cover My Coworker's Mistake, Even Though the Boss Pressured Me to? I'm a 26-year-old female, and I work for a marketing agency, and recently, the situation at work has me questioning if I'm in the wrong. One of my coworkers, Jason, a 30-year-old male, made a significant error on a client project. He sent me a draft with major mistakes to the client. When our boss found out, he immediately called me into the office and asked me to fix things quietly and take responsibility for part of the error. I have always gone along with Jason, but I feel uncomfortable taking the blame for something that I didn't do. I explained to my boss that I could help correct the mistake, but I shouldn't be the one to be blamed for it. The boss got frustrated and said that if I refused, it would look bad for me during the performance review. I tried talking to Jason about it, and instead of apologizing or taking responsibility, he laughed it off and just said, well, just let it slide, it's easier for everyone. I ended up staying late for 3 nights, fixing his mistakes, but he still didn't acknowledge it at all. Well, yesterday, the boss subtly hinted that I might look difficult if I didn't cover for Jason in the future. I told him politely that I am happy to assist in correcting the issue, but I will not take credit for someone else's mistakes. Now, some coworkers are saying that I should just go along with it to keep the peace at work, but I feel like I'm being asked to compromise my integrity. So, am I the jerk for refusing to take responsibility for Jason's errors, even though the boss wants me to? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk, and stick to your guns on OP. And also document this every step of the way.
Yeah.
What is going on here is deeply shady. You should not be being asked to cover for another employee's mistakes and being told that it will look bad on you in your performance review that you didn't lie about making mistakes you didn't make. It seems like the boss is trying to either force OP out or using OP to cover for something, and because they're expendable. I don't know what's going on here, but whatever it is, it's not good.
You know, I've heard similar things happen. They're usually because of either nepotism. So, like, Jason actually is the son of somebody way, way, way up. And so Jason's allowed to kind of slack off and do whatever he wants, and everyone else is just expected to take the heat for him because, the boss's perfect baby boy can't get into trouble, right? Jason's in a relationship with the boss, right? And so they're, or buddy buddies or something like that, where, the boss wants to see Jason do really well at the expense of OP, which is bad, right? And it could just be that, or that maybe Jason has something on the boss, and so, Jason has leverage, and so the boss wants to look out for him because he knows that Jason will come after him, right?
Well, and what's with all these coworkers telling OP to, just take the fall? They can take the fall if they want to.
Yeah, I do think that's a really good point. Is if they're really this interested in the whole taking the fall for Jason, then maybe they should be the ones to take the fall for it, right? I mean, I don't know how this is going to look good for OP on their performance review if they're constantly, quote unquote, making mistakes, right?
And once it's documented, there's going to be no proof otherwise, and so it can just be passed off as though, if OP then gets fired and tries to fight it, it will just look like it was OP's mistake to begin with.
Yeah. And so I think that the best course of action here for OP is for them to actually send an email to their boss saying, I just want to, go over the conversation we had earlier today and make sure that I'm clear that you want me to take credit for Jason's mistakes, blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
And that way it's actually documented in the email and there's a paper trail. Otherwise, it's just going to be OP's word against the boss's word, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it's really important for OP to get a paper trail here. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Glory Hawk in Tech says, not the jerk. Time to look for another job. And if you find one, do not give notice. They would give you notice that they wanted to fire you. And Liberty Spiritual 5371 says, not the jerk. Document everything. He is literally laying the very poor groundwork for you to be terminated for cause if this continues. The bigger item that you don't touch on is your role. Are you leading this team? Do you have responsibility for reviewing the deliverables before they went out? All of these things 100% change the situation. And OP replies, thanks, I've been keeping detailed records of everything, just in case. I am not leading the team, Jason's technically my peer, and I don't have final approval over deliverables. That's why it feels so unfair for my boss to pressure me to take responsibility for his mistakes. And Helena Handcart 1 says, there's something going on here between Jason and the boss which smells fishy. An inappropriate collusion. You are under no obligation to quote-unquote keep the peace at work and to take someone else's blame to do it. For goodness sake, this is your professional reputation we're talking about here. Taking responsibility for someone else's mistakes is a really bad idea, and shame on your boss for asking you to go down that route, especially with an implied threat added on that things might look difficult otherwise. How? For whom? Yes, things will definitely look difficult for him and Jason if you go along with this lie. Not the jerk, do you have an HR department that you can go to? And Potter Squash says, not the jerk, and this is all very weird. So everyone knows it's Jason's fault, but the idea is that they will tell the client that it was you? I don't understand why throwing anyone under the bus would be a good idea for anyone. If I'm the client and you said, Safe C is a mess up, my next responsibility would be, so Safe C is fired then, right? It just makes sense that they tell everyone not to name Jason publicly. It makes no sense whatsoever to name you. And OP replies, exactly, that's what confuses me the most. Everyone knows that it was Jason's mistake, but my boss wanted me to take partial responsibility, supposedly to protect him. I can't wrap my head around how making me the fall person benefits anyone. It just feels wrong and unnecessary. I'm glad someone else sees how strange this is. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Should I Tell My Fiance About a Past Marriage? Using a throwaway, I'm about to get married to my boyfriend soon. Earlier than we anticipated. We planned on eloping in the next year, but found out that I am pregnant. So we're going to elope in the next few months instead before the baby is here. I have been having a lot of guilt over a desperate decision that I made when I was 19. One of my childhood friends and I were in both tight spots and decided to go do a courthouse marriage to help us out in our own unique ways. For me, it was to help get in-state tuition since I was leaving my scholarship program due to a sexual assault within the program. I do not have a good family, and I felt that I didn't have any other options if I wanted to stay in school. A desperate and regretful decision. For him, he was military and needed to get out of the barracks. For hindsight, 2020, definitely not equal reasons. It was a strictly platonic situation. My quote-unquote ex-husband was one of my best friends since pre-K. He was on an extended break. We thought that it might be a permanent one this time, with another one of my best girlfriends at the time, and she found out after the fact and was really hurt by this. Since then, we've all made amends, and there is no bad blood. I just feel guilty for still betraying the trust of one of my best friends. We do not bring this up. We pretend that it never happened. Well, fast forward to now, we are clearly divorced, and I live in a new state. My current partner and I are looking to elope soon, and I was planning on telling him, but I'm worried it will do more harm than good right now given the circumstances under which we are getting married, like he'll feel trapped or something like that. It may just be my guilt speaking. I'm not sure if telling him will be even worth it, because it was platonic. There's no loose ends. I just feel like the guilt of not saying anything is going to eat me alive. Will I be the jerk if I don't disclose a previous marriage to my future husband? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, yes, you'll be the jerk, but the deeper issue is that you can't hide on your marriage certificate. Like, when we filed for a marriage license, you have to say what number marriage it is for you.
Yeah.
And you don't want to lie to the federal government. That is a very bad idea. They do check these kind of things. And so it could invalidate, if you were somehow to get that through, could invalidate your marriage.
Yeah. So I think that OP is pretty much worried about is worried about the wrong things here, right? If their partner would leave them over finding out that OP was in a marriage of convenience, I mean, they're not a very good partner, right?
They're not the right partner for OP.
Yeah, and that might be for the best if that's the case, because, like, do you really want to be with somebody who's going to, be so critical and judgmental, right? I do think that OP made a desperate decision, and maybe it was not a good or ethical decision in the time, but it sounds like OP's realized that and has kind of moved on from that. And their partner should also hopefully be understanding about that as well. I mean, I don't think many people would care about that. The only place that I think that it would be a problem is that if OP did hide this, then it's going to come across as, what else is OP hiding, right?
Well, exactly. The longer OP hides it, the worse it's going to get and the more questions it's going to raise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already been so long that especially if this guy is still part of OP's life, that's going to raise some questions. But if OP marries and doesn't say anything and somehow gets away with it, and then husband finds out down the line, that's going to be a huge upheaval for him.
Well, and also another problem that I think OP might have to face here is if they lied about their previous relationships and stuff like that, right? And say not really kind of bringing this up, being like, oh, haha, I had a marriage of convenience once. That can come across as a lie by omission, and it might make things a little bit more difficult. So I do think the sooner OP tells their partner, the better it's going to be. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk If I Keep the Bitcoin That I Found on an Old Laptop That Was Given to Me? I'm a 28-year-old male and my girlfriend, a 27-year-old female, both work in tech at FANG companies. We are both into hardware and tinkering with old machines. A few weeks ago, she gave me her old Windows Vista laptop from when she was a kid. She said that it was totally useless now and told me to erase the drive if I wanted to play around with it. Before wiping it, I made a backup image of the drive just in case I wanted to poke around and see how old software worked. Later, while going through the image, I found a folder that had an old Bitcoin wallet, and I managed to open it up and it still works. After checking the balance, I realized it's worth quite a lot of money now. She mentioned to me before that she had some old Bitcoin as a teenager, but thought that she had deleted the wallet years ago and lost it. She never said how much it was, and now has no memory of the details. Now, I'm not sure what to do. She gave me the laptop freely and told me to erase the drive. So technically it's mine, but the wallet was clearly hers at some point in time. It feels like finding a treasure that someone threw out without realizing that it was inside. Would I be the jerk if I kept it? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you would be the jerk. She intentionally gave you the computer. She did not intentionally give you a Bitcoin wallet. And if you... do you even like her? Like, why is this even a question for you? Why are you like, instead of being like, oh, why don't I give this back to her? Like, well, maybe I can just thieve this and like, it's okay, right?
If I found something like that, the first thing I would do is like be so excited and tell my partner.
Exactly. Like, look, I found your old Bitcoin.
Like, you got so much money now. This is great, right? Like, and I'm sure with OP finding it that she would be happy to like share at least some of it.
I would imagine so. Like, if this relationship is at all good, although given OP's reaction.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's everyone for themselves in this relationship. But I do think that the right thing here to do is to tell the partner because it is her money, right? It's her Bitcoin. She didn't give you the Bitcoin, she gave you the computer, right?
Yeah, it's like if someone, is getting rid of a coat and they don't realize there's, a $20 bill in the pocket. The polite thing to do is to give them back the $20 because they didn't mean to give that to you.
Yeah. So there's a lot of intention here. So I don't think that when she gave you, because she said to erase the drive, so technically she's not telling you to keep the data, right?
Yeah, like OP even violated her instructions there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that in some case that's not necessarily a bad thing because it's always good to make a backup of a drive just so that if there was something valuable on there that you don't lose it permanently. So I don't think that that's like, I don't think that's against the spirit of what she was saying. I just think that it was more or less like in poor taste that he thinks that he is entitled to this Bitcoin at all.
If he's trying to like, do the whole, well, she gave this to me. She did not give him the information on the drive.
Yeah, she didn't give him the data. She just told him to wipe it and start fresh. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. No judgment. Wheel, you're a coward.
Yeah, Wheel, you are a coward. This is an easy one.
The Wheel wants some of the Bitcoin.
Yeah, the Wheel's like, give me some Bitcoin and I'll give a ruling.
I can't believe the Wheel's been compromised, blackmailed.
I can't. I've never trusted the Wheel.
And Grouchy Geezer says, you're the jerk? This is your girlfriend's and you're planning to steal from her? Really? How terrible are you? If this is how you treat your loved ones, what in the world do you do to people that you don't even like? Can you say malignant narcissist or sociopath? And Superwalk3492 says, you will be the jerk. Do you have any morals at all? Or is greed your primary driver? And Locolo29 says, you're the jerk. Why is this woman with you? I hope she wises up. And Carby1125 says, do you even like your girlfriend? Yes, you would be the jerk. And I come to Dagan says, you're the jerk big time. This is your partner. You're supposed to share all wins in life. If you don't at least share it, why be together? All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Why couldn't the Headless Horseman become a teacher?
Well, because he didn't have the head for it.
He didn't have any pupils.
Oh.
And it's World Students Day.
So, yeah, don't let the Headless Horseman teach you. I think that's the biggest lesson that we've learned from here. The Headless Horseman's no Ichabod Crane. What can I say? And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Terrific Tuesday, spelled TWO. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on lies and deceit.
If the ideas of lying to or stealing from your partner are appealing, it's time for you to reconsider the relationship.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!